Hello, everyone. October is National Disability Awareness Month. We pay tribute to the accomplishments of men and women with disabilities whose work keeps our nation's economy strong, and we reaffirm our commitment as Americans to ensure equal opportunity for all citizens. It is important for our students to understand that everyone is different, and our differences are what make us wonderful and unique. But sometimes this message isn't so easy to convey. These books that I'm going to share with you today celebrate differences and disabilities and highlight characters who are different from us in some cases and very much like us in many other cases. Some of these are real life stories, some of these are fictional, but they're all based on one thing: kindness. How can we relate to people that are a little different from us, but enjoy and celebrate their talents? And how can we build relationships with them and ask questions in a kind and respectful way? A few weeks ago, I shared this book with you, Just Ask, by Sonia Sotomayor. It is a beautiful book that celebrates how each of us grow in our own way. And Justice Sotomayor was a diabetic, is a diabetic, but she suffered with diabetes when she was a child. And this book really shows that how differently able kids have wonderful strengths and can all work together to make something turn out just right. But the title of the book, Just Ask, is a real clue to what she was trying to say. If you have a question about why I'm in a wheelchair, why I walk with crutches, why I can't see as you can, just ask. Another beautiful book that I have is called Awesomely Emma. It's about a girl with multiple handicaps who goes on a field trip with her friends at school. And what I mean by friends at school, I mean friends at school. They all recognize what beautiful talent she has and how she can use her feet, because she has no hands, to write and draw. She has a beautiful relationship with her classmates. And when they go on this field trip, they're all so excited. When they get there, they realize there's no ramp at the front of the museum. So Emma and her teacher must go around to the back and meet the class on the inside. She's not able to go in with her class in the front door. At the end of their visit, the guide asks them if they have any suggestions or any questions. And Emma writes with her feet that she thinks that there should be a ramp in the front of the building so that differently able people can enter with their family and friends. It's a beautiful book. And in the back of the book, there are, it shows her letter and how she composed it. There is another book that goes in that series called Charlie and Emma, along the same storyline, but it has to do with the playground and how Emma can't actually use the playground as the other children have. One of the best books that I have is called Meeting Mimi. Mimi comes into school as a new student. The very first day, she stands in front of the class and says, "Hi, I'm Mimi. I like jokes. I like ducks, and I have a physical disability. And I like questions." Everyone was really quiet for a while. Everyone stared at her. And soon everyone had questions. The book tells you about how the children develop a relationship by asking her questions that they would ask any other kid in their classroom, but also about the walker she has and what she can and can't do. And realize that, oh, wow, her arms are really strong. She can do things that we can't do. And they learn to build on each other's strengths. One of the reasons that I recommend this book highly is because in the back of the book, there are some discussion questions that you can use that help children, help start the discussion for children who might not know how to ask a question or relate to someone like that. Another book that I'm particularly fond of is Authentically Addie. This is written by a Lorena mother. And she decided to write the book when she heard an unkind remark coming from another child in her daughter's presence. And while it was hurtful, she realized as a teacher that there was a void there of books that explain to children that we are all authentically made and have wonderful gifts, but they may not be the same as yours. Addie goes on a wonderful trip to the zoo where she learns that even animals have disabilities, one on a crutch, one with a hearing aid, one with even glasses. It's a beautiful story. And we are so happy that someone from Waco is getting the recognition that they deserve for writing a book that is so beautifully written and so needed at this time. And one of my favorite books is Uniquely Made. This is a story about a boy with autism and the wonderful gifts that he has. You know, every child with autism is not alike. So it really kind of goes through a lot of the different characteristics that children with autism have. One being a phenomenal memory. My husband and I were actually having a discussion about one of his patients who, if you gave him a date, he could tell you what day of the week that it fell on hundreds of years ago. I'm not sure we ever tried to prove it, but he was amazing. And I know somebody really checked his information many times, and he was right every time. Because of this child in this book, we learned that fair doesn't always mean equal. And this is a really good lesson for our students to learn. It explains why he perseverates on some things, why sometimes he flaps his arm because his brain is working so fast and he's trying to organize his thoughts. He knows he's not quite like his siblings or his classmates, but he also knows that he is learning to cope with the things that make his life difficult. So knowing that we have many children on this campus who are affected with similar behaviors, it might be a good thing to introduce this book to your class, maybe a little at a time, but again, it is a timely book for you to have. It also has many suggestions in the back and topics that you can speak with your children about. And then one that is a true story is Emmanuel's Dream. We have this in our library and I have several copies. So if you need to borrow, please come and let me know. I know many teachers have this in their classroom also. This is a book about a young boy who was born with only one leg. And he was born in Ghana. And of course, the outlook didn't look especially bright for him. But as he grew, he got a bicycle. And with only one strong leg, he cycled across Ghana 400 miles to spread his message that disability does not mean inability. And I think that's one thing that we all need to keep saying over and over. Just because you can't do something the way that I would do it, or that someone else would do it. Doesn't mean you don't have a way to do it, and maybe even better. I hope this is helpful when you begin the conversation with your students. Please don't ignore this month because it is so needed for our kids to have these wonderful tools to develop relationships and to learn how to ask questions in a kind and respectful manner. Thank you.